Will Ranked 1.0 return to Rainbow Six Siege? That's the question we'll be asking today, and also I'll be giving you tips on how to increase the chances of it returning as well. So first of all, it is pretty much impossible to not see someone saying they hate Ranked 2.0 and they want it gone. Whether it's on Reddit, forums, social media, comment sections, it's everywhere. And there's usually always a consistent theme, which is how is it not being reverted back to 1.0 already? Why is it still 2.0 as if it's obvious they should be going back to 1.0? And content creators are always making videos about how Rank 2.0 works. Varsity, for instance, has actually a regular release of Rank 2.0 explanation videos, as he just needs to constantly keep updating his audience, as his comment section is always filled with people who are confused. So there's certainly a lot that's gone wrong with 2.0 and its rollout, and even back when they actually launched it, it took them a long time to actually put out the information on how it did work. And then, of course, they had a long time to then catch up to the players. And even to this day, players are still confused. But let's talk about the flip side. So when Ranked existed before, it got the equal attention of criticism because it was rubbish. And unfortunately, it is still used as the backbone for the skill-based matchmaking in Ranked 2.0. The only thing that's changed is that it doesn't reset your skill level every season now. And of course, the reason you see a lot of criticism of Ranked 2.0 these days is because algorithms are just really good at pushing you that kind of criticism because it gets a lot of engagement, it keeps you on the sites longer, and it shows you more adverts. Whereas positive stuff usually doesn't get shown to you on social media these days. But there is also a problem with the criticism we're seeing, which is usually if you go to the Reddit and see like a screenshot that someone's taken and said, look at this terrible game of Rank 2.0, it's such a bad system. They always crop out what the top ranks of the people on each team is, and it usually ends up being the same, as if it actually is balancing out pretty well. And this is a problem because it's bad criticism, because it doesn't actually show the flaws of Rank 2.0 that could potentially be fixed. Instead, it just shows that actually it looks like the skill levels of the players were matching up pretty good. The good criticism would be saying the way it calculates skill levels is terrible. It's just wins and losses, so it's not a good gauge of actual skill. So as a result, it can make many games feel kind of terrible to play. And then another problem we can bring up between Rank 1.0 and Rank 2.0 is that the average rank in 1.0 was silver and gold. This is where the majority of players would show up. Now, if you get to gold 1, you're in the top 15% of players. Now, a lot of people don't think they're that high up when they're gold 1. And especially for myself, when I used to play Rank 1.0, I would wait about half a season, let everyone move up the ranks. Then I would play my ranked games, and I would hopefully get about gold 1 and feel pretty happy with myself. And I would consider that to be average. Whereas now, you're actually way up there and not that far off champions. And another problem that I've begun to see more and more as Rank 2.0 is going on is that the low-skilled players, they are locked into Copper and Bronze. No matter how many games they play, they'll never leave those ranks. And if you played Rank 1.0 before and you played your 10 placement matches, even if you did terrible, you'd probably end up in silver. And now there's players out there playing Ranked and playing it a lot, and they just don't have the skill to get higher. And as a result, they're just stuck in Copper and Bronze. And that, I don't think, is a particularly good thing either. And this is the thing, it's not a great system for high-ranked players, and it's not a great system for low-ranked players. And then, of course, one of the major issues and a good criticism about Rank 2.0 is that your skill rating is hidden. This just explodes the amount of confusion everybody has. So let's have a little chat about how you can make the chances of Rank 1.0 come back higher. Now, every single season, there is a survey. It's posted on all of Rainbow Six's social medias. It's posted on the subreddit, and you might never have seen it. And whenever I mention this survey, I'll have tons of comments just saying, I have never seen this survey show up in my social medias ever. Now, this goes back to the whole social media thing with the algorithms. It doesn't push that kind of stuff. There's a good chance if you're following those same social accounts, you will never see that survey get posted unless you go and check. Whereas you might see 10 posts from people you don't even follow complaining about Rank 2.0. So keep your eyes out and watch for that survey. Now, at the end of that survey, you can usually give personal feedback and just actually type something in. And of course, put in there that you'd like to see Ranked 1.0 come back. And if there's enough players who end up doing that, that can actually change how things are done, because they usually base a lot of what they're kind of thinking about off the data that comes directly from the game and how people are playing it, but also from the feedback they're getting from surveys. So try and keep an eye out for those surveys. Like I said, the algorithms on social media isn't going to push them, so there's a good chance you're not going to see them, but keep actually checking the pages and you'll eventually see it get posted every season. And then we should probably talk about, should actually Rank 1.0 come back? So I'm in the opinion that Rank 1.0 is rubbish, and I'm also in the opinion that Rank 2.0 is rubbish, and mainly because I don't like how it calculates skill. If the skill-based system could be upgraded in either 1.0 or 2.0, and it was just better at calculating skill, I would be so much happier. I remember, of course, because it used to reset, that everyone would then get thrown in together. And I think a lot of players, they will say, oh, I want a competitive ranked mode. But what they actually want is when they start playing ranked, they want easy games as they're going through like copper and bronze, and then they want it to get more difficult. And then as they reach their top rank where their skill kind of matches out, they don't want to fight anyone higher than that. They want to be only seeing people at the same level as them. And of course, that's pretty difficult because let's say you're actually all the way up in diamond and you're at the the lowest rank of diamond, you're in the top 5% of players. And of course, they're not all playing at the same time and they're not all in the same regions. So the amount of players for them to fight other diamonds is actually very difficult, which means you're going to end up getting matched against golds from time to time. And of course, it means champions, which are 0.5% of the player base, are going to be, of course, having to fight lower ranks as well. So yeah, I don't think there's a particularly great solution to it all. But certainly going back to rank 1.0 has one major flaw, and it's not how it calculates skill. It's not if it's a better system or a worse system. It is simply that people will complain about rank 1.0. And those complaints will show up just as much as rank 2.0 complaints show up now. And that's because there's people who are just simply content with the current rank system. And of course, they're not on social media complaining about it. But if you were to go and put it back to the 1.0 system, I bet there would be just as equal amount of people jumping on and complaining about rank 1.0. And this is the major problem. For the developers, there's no win here. Let's say they did tomorrow just revert back to 1.0. There would be a chunk of the players who would not be happy and would complain. And if they keep rank 2.0, there's going to be a chunk of players who don't like 2.0 and will complain. And if they go ahead and make a 3.0, there'll be a chunk of players who will complain about it. Even if they were to come up with and this would be a heck of a feat, but to make a whole new skill system that actually tracks the skill of Siege players way better than the current one, they were to then implement it, it would still get complaints. And that is the problem. They're damned if they do, and they're damned if they don't. And that's why I think there's not going to be any chunk of resources that will go into reverting things back to 1.0. I think we'll probably just see a continuous evolution of 2.0. They've added a couple of things in this year, and I'm assuming they're just going to add a couple of things in. And I think they'll probably never classify it as like 3.0 or anything like that. Now, I hope there's tweaks they make that make rank 2.0 better, like just making your skill rating visible, or at least giving you an idea of where you sit in skill rating. Like, I would be happy if in my career page it said you're in the top 10% of players or a top 20% of players, just to give you an idea of where you sit skill wise. And it would also mean you could keep an eye on that and see if it goes up or down and give you a better understanding of how you are doing in the game's kind of system. And as long as it's hidden, it's just going to be constant confusion for players out there. And the ask for going back to 1.0 will remain, I think. But I don't believe it will ever happen. I also think we'll never go to 3.0. I think 2.0 will just get iterated on bit by bit, and we'll never get a system that is satisfying. Never. Not going to happen. But anyway, guys, that's my 2 cents on rank 2.0 and also how you could potentially actually bring it back if you give enough feedback and enough of you do it. So maybe you'll just manage to turn it around and 1.0 will come back.